Welcome back to From the Bench, everybody. As always, it's Eric, and today it's finally arrived. My latest PSA order is here. I got two of these boxes from my good buddy Will, and we're gonna get into it. There's 37 cards in total. Gonna make this a two-part video. So we'll just go through all of it. Got some PC stuff, got some stuff that I'm gonna sell. But here we go. Two boxes of PSA slabs in this grade reveal. I do know all the grades ahead of time. Usually I don't. Usually I just have, I kind of do it blindly. Everything else, this one I do know the grades. I know what they are. Kind of helps though, because I can kind of go through a little bit of what it is. This was a $15 value submission. The special they ran a couple months ago. It got there on July 5th. That's when they checked it in. Just getting it back today. When you guys are watching it on the 12th, I got it yesterday. In Canadian dollars, that's where I am in Canada. It was a $24 by the time it ships there, back to me, exchange rate, all that stuff. That was the cost, is $24 per card. But like I said, knowing all this before, I know what I paid for these cards. I know what they sell for, the recent comp, so we'll kind of go through all that. But here we go. First card up. I talked about this in my preview video. If you guys want to go check it out, I have preview videos for all this stuff. Whenever I do a PSA submission, I have another PSA submission preview video that's I just sent out 3 weeks ago. So if you guys want to check that out after this one. But here we go. Alex Ovechkin, just an insert card, just black diamond. I just really like these. They look a lot better in person than, you know, on like an actual picture or a scan. Scan definitely doesn't do enough for this, but thought, you know, gonna pass Wayne Gretzky's goal record one at some point. If it comes back at 10, and I thought it was pretty clean, you know, probably make $100 off it. I did not though. Came back at 9. I think it was the bottom edge, and I think I mentioned that in the preview video. Just could have been a little better, but PSA 9 to start us off. Next up, it's the exact same card. Not exact same, but it's Connor McDavid's version of the same thing. Black diamond once again. Just these cards look really good in person. Best player in the world when it comes to hockey. It is what it is. Bedard's probably the new big chase, but this is the guy that demands the most money right now. Connor McDavid, black diamond, and this one did come out at a PSA 10, so that's big. I pulled both of these cards myself by opening up extended, so for me it's pretty good. And you'll see all the prices below me, what I kind of value the cards at, or what I have into them with grading and everything else, and then what the sale price is. So that's like $110 is a recent comp that I could find. So next up, Ilya Sorokin. I bought a bunch of these color wheels. The centering was off on like pretty much all of them though. This was the only one that I had that I thought was worth grading. Once again, front's clean, back centering was good too. And I was right, because it came back a PSA 10. So really nice card. Top 3-5 goalie in the league. Doesn't quite get the same love, but that's, you know, the Islanders, right? They're kind of the second cousin of the Rangers. Even though they've been good, they just haven't been able to get over the hump. They're not an exciting team, so it doesn't help. I don't usually do a whole lot of goalies, but this was like around the submission time, was around the same time John Gibson was talking about wanting a trade out of Anaheim, everything else. So I thought, well, this is a pretty clean copy of Lucas Dostal if it comes back at 10 and he becomes a starter and John Gibson gets traded. This could be a nice little card. Once again, no bad edge at the top of it. A lot of these have like chipping at the top, if you guys know the set. Bottom, it's good. Same thing at back, centering's good. I was like, man, this is going to 10 all day long. So I would have pulled that. I don't think I would have bought it. I have it as a $4 card. The Sorokin was $6, obviously. $4, $24. It's probably like a $7 card now. Yeah, it is what it is. Another one, I pulled this myself. Matty Beniers. Like I said, a lot of these have a lot of issues with like edges, bottom edge, top edge, chipping, everything else. I was like, no, what? This is really clean. The only thing about this one, maybe it's a little bottom heavy. I don't know. Same thing. Thought it was a pretty clean copy of Magnetiers. But apparently I was wrong once again. So the guy I was high in going into last year obviously won the Calder. He comes back a PSA 9 for me. We got... The nice thing about those guys is, like, if you do pull a 9, especially with the cheap grading, usually you can make your money back and then maybe even a couple bucks on top of that just because people want their cards in a slab. The lower end stuff, it's hard to get your money back. But like the Matty Beniers, stuff like that, if you even hit a 9, usually you can at least get your money back with the cheap grading. So once again, for professional grading tool, just remember. Taylor Radish on a new team, no longer on Tampa, but I just thought, once again, I've opened a lot of this. A lot of them have like a print line down the side. This didn't have it. Corners were good. Centering was good. Everything else, I was thinking, maybe he gets a little bit of a bump. There we go. Got a PSA 10. This stuff I'm usually a little more picky on, just because I don't want to waste money on like random guys unless I really think it's going to be a 10. So I was pretty sure on that one. You never know, though. I don't know what the heck's wrong with that Dostal, but obviously something. Seth Jarvis. I'm going to just move my mic a little bit so you might hear a noise here. There we go. Seth Jarvis. Same thing. No print line. Checked it out pretty well. Came back a 9. I don't really know what. Really thought that would probably be a 10, but obviously I'm wrong. Good team. Obviously he kind of falls into this status of it's hard to have a whole lot of guys that people are going to like on a team. They got Aho and Svechnikov, which you'll see one of those later on in this video. You just get a lot of stuff, a lot of good players over there. So it's hard to really like break into that group when you're like one of the top 6 forwards maybe, or on that cusp of that top 6 forwards, but you haven't really made yourself a guy yet. But it is what it is. William Eklund, this guy I've talked about a lot. I think he's a good player. I like the upside of him. He's a first round pick. It's that stuff you want to see for when you are buying cards and stuff like that. You just want that first round pedigree. Usually helps. William Eklund, the only problem is he plays for the San Jose Sharks, and they're not going to be good for a while. So that's just the way it is. William Eklund, though, came back at 10. Clean version. 10 when it comes to Eklund. I've talked about it many times. I think this guy is going to be, I think this team is going to be one of the biggest hype teams coming into the next season. I just think Buffalo, you got Owen Power, you got all the guys, Devin Levi over there. It's just so many guys. I just think they're going to have a lot of people thinking that they can make the next step this year. So I decided to take a chance on him. And it paid off. We got another PSA 10. This one's a JJP. Jason Peterka. So going a little bit older, not a whole lot. But we got Timmy Stu. I'm pretty sure I pulled this out of a retail box, if I remember correctly. Just this guy's like a $70 card raw, $25 to grade it. So it's $95. So you're into it for a little bit more. But like I said, usually if they come back at 9, at least usually you can sell them for the same price. That's what you have in for fees and stuff. But he's just Canadian team, 21 years old. Put up a ton of points last year. So just a guy I don't mind throwing a couple bucks at to grade his stuff. And they usually have a high gem rate. And this one just added to that. So PSA 10, Tim Stutzel. Nice little, $215 card is what I have on my list. So I wasn't going to, grade a whole lot of goalies, but here we are with Joel Hofer. Hofer. I call it Hofer every time, but I just think Biddington might outrun his welcome in St. Louis. All just his antics and his hissy fits and his trying to fight players all the time and just everything. I thought maybe they might give this kid a chance. I think he played a couple times last year and actually played pretty well, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah, just another set. I had a bunch of these, like probably 5 or 6 I had to look over. This was the best copy out of all of them, and it paid off because that was the best copy because it came back at 10. So PSA 10, a Joel Hoffer. Next up, talking about Seth Jarvis right there. This is the other guy, Svechnikov. I've said it many times. I really do think that if he plays in the playoffs, I think that's the difference for them. I think they might be able to take it all. They were just missing that extra firepower, unfortunately. What do you do when the guy gets injured? I have to look into when he comes back, whether I hold it now or if I sell it, because it came back another PSA 10. So I like Svechnikov. I think he's a good player. I think he has a lot of upside. I think that team's really good. When he's on and scoring, it's hard to stop him. So I got to check in to see when he gets back on the ice. I think he tore his ACL or something like that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but yeah. This is probably one of my biggest blunders of all time, and this is, you kind of know where this is going already. This was an SGC 10. I talked about it in the preview video, but I decided to crack it. I've cracked a bunch of slabs. I've cracked a bunch of HEA, PSA, Beckett, Tag. I've cracked them all. What I hadn't cracked at that point was SGC. And their top of their slab is once you crack the edge, it's tight together. So I crack the corner, get in there, get my flathead screwdriver, and I'm trying to push it in between the two sides to split the slab open. And as soon as I got it in there, that screwdriver went in, and then it just kept on sliding. And so I nicked this corner. I've had it pressed by me putting books and stuff on it and other stuff. Tried to make it look as good as possible, but I don't know if you can see it here. You can kind of see it's still got a little bit of a bend there. I thought, you never know. Maybe they just don't notice it. Maybe they gave me the PSA 10 because it looks pretty good when you just look at it really quickly. No, they gave me an 8, so that's fine. I just didn't want it to come back that I told somebody had the banged up corner and they didn't hear me, and then all of a sudden I'm the jerk because I sold them a Young Guns with a bent corner or something. For the $15 US, $24 Canadian, it's worth it for me to grade it and take the chance. So PC item here, we got Gabe Landeskog. Didn't have his Young Guns in a PSA slab. I have his Future Watch Auto. I had bought that raw, graded it, came back a 10, was super happy. I've had this for a couple years now, sitting around. I bought this, I think, for $20 at some point, $25 to grade it for the PC. And we went 2 for 2 for Gabe with PSA 10s for PC cards that I grade myself that came back a 10. So big swing there. That's for $45. Essentially, if I was to buy a PSA 10 Landeskog, it would be $135 right now. So little cheaper for me to do it this way. I'm getting some Future Watch autos here. This was, where is it? Originally a Beckett 9. So centering was 9.5. We'll get into that in a second. Edges were 9.5. Corners were 9. And the surface was an 8.5. And I looked at it quickly in the Beckett slab, and I was like, what? I don't know. This looks pretty good. And at the time when I bought it for $310 Canadian. By the time it got to me and everything else, $25 to regrade this. But I was like, you know what? We'll check it out. And then I took it out of the Beckett slab, and looked at it. And it is super top heavy. This should be the same top of this diamond here. Should be the same distance from the top of the card to that as bottom of his name. Big difference. You really notice it on the back. The difference between the distance here to the distance here. So it's super off center, top to bottom. And then I noticed once I got it out, because it didn't look that hard. Can I get it? Oh, there it is. See that mark over his left shoulder? So that's on the card. So I was like, it's already cracked. Don't want to sell it raw. May as well take the chance. I was worried it was going to come back a PSA 8. But I was good. It came back a 9. So at least it's 9. From what I can see, it's probably like a $340 card. So I might make $5 on it if I try to sell it now, which makes sense, right? You know, PSA I think was at the time, if I had just cracked it right away, resubmitted it, I would have made quite a bit of money just being in a PSA slab. But Jack Eichel's market went down because, you know, he won a Stanley Cup, almost won the playoff MVP other than Marshall. So he was kind of that 1B, you know, and his prices go down. Same as Nathan McKinnon, right? You just got to win a championship and the prices will go up. That's why you buy guys. That's why you invest in guys, right? You buy a guy, so if he wins the championship, the prices go up. We'll get into that. That's a video for another day. Petrolangelo, Stanley Cup champion, along with Jack Eichel there. Thought this was clean. I had 2 copies of this. This was the cleaner of the 2. Edges are good. I think there's one little... I don't see anything. I thought there's one edge that was right there maybe. Overall, I thought it was a pretty clean copy. Centering, as you kind of see between the logos and stuff, they're pretty good. I have no idea. Like, if you see something I don't see, or if you know this set and knows something wrong that happens with these sets, maybe there, I don't know. Anyways, PSA 8 for that. Another PC item. We got the Whit Dog, Ryan Whitney, Future Watch Auto. I thought it was decently, I've said that 10,000 times already. Decently clean, you know. Thought it was in good shape. Decently clean. But Future Watch Auto, that's a PC item anyways. Bought this for decently cheap. And it came back at 9. So I was hoping for a 10. The same thing, it's a PC item. It's fine. It doesn't really bother me. This one I picked up for $20 at the Halifax Card Show. Big fan of Dylan Guenther. Think he's going to be a really good kid. Plays for Arizona. It's the only thing that kind of holds me up about him. But I really like the way he plays, and I think he, you know, same thing. I think that team has upside in the future and might have a little hype around them. But it's a black. The only thing after like looking at them since I got it is there's this. See a little mark there? So that wasn't there in the preview video. So that there might be a message that goes out to PSA because that was not there in the preview video, and they literally went from there to the PSA. So the only other thing is there's a little white dot here, and there's a little white dot in his hair. I didn't even notice those at the time. I just thought they were part of the picture. But I was saying all that because it got an 8. What does a canvas have to be an 8? Anyways, Dylan Holloway, Oilers, Canadian team, young guy. It's a newer set. I don't like to typically grade the older sets unless it's like a guy that I really think. If it's just like a borderline guy, I don't really want to grade anything that's like 2020, 2021 for the most part. Dylan Holloway canvas. That's how canvas is usually graded. PSA 10 Dylan Holloway. Not sure why I graded the next guy, but I don't know. Thought I'd take a chance. Noah Cates. Young Guns canvas. 2022, 2023. It came back at 10. So at least it pays off. You know, make your money back. Make 10, 15, 20 bucks off it, whatever it is, of Noah Cates. I bought this raw, I believe from Champ Sports Cards, which no longer exists, in Riverview, New Brunswick. But I think I bought them for, I have it here for $30 on my sheet. I can't remember if I paid 20 or 30 bucks for them, but Owen Power, Young Guns, canvas, and it came back as a 10. So same thing. I don't like to grade defensemen usually, but first overall pick, high upside, team that I think a lot of people are going to like. So that's why I decided to grade him. This guy I was high on last year. I thought he was going to be a really good player. I kind of said a couple times, I think, in videos and stuff, there was no reason for them to bring him up because, they wanted to stink. They wanted to be not good last year. They're tanking for Bedard. Obviously, it worked. His prices went way up as soon as they got the first overall pick. But it's a Young Guns canvas of Lucas Reichel. Could be another building block with Connor Bedard. He came back as a PSA 10, so maybe he's the Jonathan Toews to Connor Bedard being Patrick Kane for the Blackhawks in their new iteration. So this guy, just a symbol of the NHL at this point. Trevor Zegras doesn't have a contract as of recording for the Ducks. Just look at that hair, though. He's everything you want for the NHL. He's good personality, likes to talk, likes to be interviewed, everything else. And it came back as a PSA 10. So I bought this raw for $60 at the time when I bought this a couple months ago. $24 to grade it, and it's about $125. So talked about not grading goalies, and here's Sorokin again. I think he's a really good goalie. I bought this raw. I thought I'd throw it in with the rest of the submission. Why not? Take the chance. Did have a little bit of a corner that was meh. I thought, it was very borderline. So I think it was that, maybe this corner. It was that corner. Anyways, wasn't worth the risk. I also had bought this for like $31 back in the day. Paid $24 to grade it, and it's probably worth like $20 in a PSA 9. So not good. We got 2 cards left for part 1. We'll have a part 2, so make sure you like and subscribe for part 2 of this. We got 37 cards in total. So Mikko Rantanen, Young Guns canvas is a PC item. Obviously, you can tell by all the stuff in the background. I wasn't sure about this one just because it's off center. Left to right, you see the gap there compared to the gap here. Other than that, it was in pretty good shape. I've had this same thing for quite a while now and was lucky enough that it did come back at PSA 10. So add that to the PC pile. And last but not least, this was an HGA 9.5. The only problem is not only that it was HGA. I bought this like a year and a half ago plus, like a long time ago. I paid $42 for this thing. I bought this and a Barzell that were both in HGA slabs. This one has one of the corners. This corner? That corner? That corner? I think it's this corner. Anyways. Other than that, it was a decently clean copy. It was just a cracked slab, so I was cracking it out anyways. I said, might as well take the chance at pulling a 10 out of this. At the time, wasn't a Stanley Cup champion. Is now a Stanley Cup champion. Doesn't matter, though, because it came back at 9. Maybe they just don't like... Maybe it was a salty fan that didn't like the Golden Knights, because I just realized all my Golden Knight guys, Mark Stone, Petrolangelo came back at 8. The other Eichel came back at 8. The other one came back at 9. Maybe they just weren't a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights and that they won the Stanley Cup. So there we go. That is submission. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. So make sure you like and subscribe for part 2. Pretty happy overall so far. And like I said, this video 2, I'll go into some things like what the cards either cost me or comp at, the entire cost of the grading submission, and what I stand to profit off it if I sold everything. So once again, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and for Eric from the bench, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye guys.